Hi there, welcome to Tarotland Soap Opera. Today I'm going to do a reading for Gemini energy. And like usual on this channel, we're going to do two rows. The top row is a more high vibrational Gemini energy. The bottom row is a more worldly, shadowy Gemini energy. We've all got our dualistic nature. We have to battle within ourselves to make these decisions in our free will. Gemini energy is air sign energy of the mind. What's our truth? Are we more about hope and faith and belief and love, or are we more about ourself, ego, image, money, materialism, indulging ourself? Are we in relationships with people who are more like that? Are we working together with other people who are more motivated by those things in love? And life's about learning these lessons. Are we willing to get out of our ego and admit that we have some lessons to learn and some healing and growing? Are we willing to face our fears, to believe in ourselves and believe in our dreams, to move forward and kind of shed an old way of living life, to move forward, being more authentically ourselves, bold and brave, healed, whatever? It's the same phase that we go through when we're like age 18 to age 21 to age 25. You know, we got to shed some old ways of being to face our fears, to believe we can master that next phase of life. And there's going to be some people who are done with the debate within themselves, and they are going to move forward in life differently. The reason for the top row's reading is separation. The reason for the bottom row's reading is lack of faith. We'll keep repeating an old pattern and way of living life until we feel comfortable and ready to move forward in life differently. And sometimes when some people are ready, or we're ready to move forward in life differently, some other people in our life might not be ready, just like we weren't ready to move forward in life differently. We're all on our own journey. We heal and we grow and mature and face our fears and insecurities at different points in time. And we're looking for people who are kind of on the same page as us at the same time. Let's go look at the top row. Leap of faith, uprooting, the mask, and coming apart. So this card is kind of like letting go of an old way of defining ourselves. You know, it's like the puzzle pieces falling apart. And so it's kind of like a tower card where we're willing to let go of an old version of ourselves. I'm done being like a 15-year-old. I'm ready to face my fears and let go of that. Detach from being like a 15-year-old to become like an 18-year-old. Same thing. We go through that same process throughout our life. At least some people do. Some people could get to a certain phase of life, and when we're young, we kind of feel like we have to do these certain things, like I need to move out of home. I need to go get a job. I need to learn how to drive. I'm going to get in a relationship, you know. And some people, when they get to a certain stage of life, they're like, I'm good, I'm done, I don't want to do that anymore, I'm comfortable here, living my life like this. And that's our free will choice. We just need to see the truth of it. If we're someone who wants to keep shedding old layers of ourselves, working through some of our fears and insecurities and self-limiting beliefs to keep like growing to our full potential, we have to see the truth that some people aren't willing to do that. They could have a way of viewing life. If they get a job, get in a relationship, I'm good. Any fears or insecurities or self-limiting beliefs I have, they're staying with me forever. They might keep accumulating, but I am not going to step outside my comfort zone and face my fears to do life any differently. And the truth sets us free. We realize who is willing to move forward with us, letting us continue to grow to our full potential, and some people who are, happy living at a certain phase of life for the rest of their life. So the leap of faith is willing to go on this new journey. In that picture up there on the wall is the major arcana of the tarot deck, and 0 is the Fool taking this leap of faith. We go on this journey to learn these lessons, and if we have learned the lessons we were meant to learn at a certain phase of life, at the very end we have the World card. Okay, I've lived my life at that phase of life. I'm ready to face my fears about going on a new journey. I want to go to the next level of life. I want to shed a layer of my more immature, worldly, fearful, insecure, whatever nature to become independent of those things and face my fears to believe I can conquer like the next level of life. So we take that leap of faith in the uprooting. We kind of let go of that old foundational way of viewing life. And the mask is kind of, I think high vibe energy is about becoming more independent of things that manipulate us and our more immature ways of viewing life. And the mask, I kind of view it because that person has the sun shining on them, kind of makes me think of Leo energy. We can either operate more in Leo energy from our ego and our defensive nature, wearing a mask, or we learn to become more and more authentically ourselves in the world and quit being, I don't know, caught up in the things of the world, trying to make people view us a certain way or think of us being a certain way. It's like, you know what? I'm just going to be authentically myself. If I'm a loving person and I treat people with love and respect and encouragement and I treat people the way I want to be treated, people are going to judge me based on the type of person they are. I don't control other people. And sometimes that's what the worldly, shadowy road can be about. I haven't learned to love my authentic self and be more authentically myself. So it is kind of living more from my mind, trying to figure out how I can get people to view me a certain way or like me or whatever. And it's like, you know what? I want to be free from the illusion. I'm going to be authentically myself. And if I'm treating other people with love and respect and encouragement, and I'm not creating an illusion about who I am and trying to confuse people about the truth of who I am, and I'm just authentically who I am, I think that seems like the easier way to live life, but it can take us a long time to get there. and that's the Tower card. It's like I'm letting go of being an illusion. People are going to be on the same page as me and open and responsive to working together with people in a just and fair and loving and authentic relationship, or they're not. And I kind of don't want to live a fake life, and I don't want to be trying to get people to be on the same page as me if they're not on the same page as me. You know, and then this is kind of interesting because this looks like a tree with a tunnel in it. And we have this dualistic nature, and for a lot of our life growing up, you know, we are trying to fit in. We want people to like us. We get caught up in all the things of the world. Well, I have to look like this and I have to act like that. And you know, all these things in order to try to fit in, because as human beings, we kind of don't want to shine our authentic light because we can be afraid of people judging us or not liking us, but it's a miserable way to live your life, not living your authentic truth. And it's like, you know, I'm done trying to get people to view me a certain way or me not living my authentic life. So that's the Tower card. And there could be some people as you're moving forward that you thought were going to move forward with you in this way, and you thought they viewed life that same way, and then it could kind of be revealed that they're not being authentically who you thought they were. Their truth could be different than your truth, and sometimes in the Tower card, that's a shock. Like, I thought we were on the same page. I thought we were motivated and inspired by the same things and the same dreams, and I thought we viewed life the same way. And then we could find out some people in our life, they don't have hope and faith and belief and love, don't trust other people, can't go to that next stage of life with you because it would require them to get out from hiding behind their ego nature and defensive nature to be more authentically themselves, and that, you can be in relationships with people for a long time and things can work out because you got a lot of different things to navigate through. And yep, I guess, we can navigate this and negotiate this. We're on the same page with this. But when it maybe could get to where someone has to be more authentically themselves, I view high vibe Leo as people who are authentic and loving and warm. It's like letting their authentic inner child nature out to play in the world. And that can be the end of a relationship because everything else could have been navigated but that. And you could find in the relationship, it could have went good for a long time, but starting to feel like people aren't really being authentic with you, that, kind of feeling like people are living more from their mind than their heart, that people are kind of using their emotions or whatever kind of manipulatively in a relationship instead of, the relationship becoming a more deep, meaningful, authentic relationship. And sometimes, with the mask coming off, you can see the truth that some people are distrustful, they don't love and believe in themselves, they aren't really motivated by love. It could be it was good for their ego or their image or their status, but love isn't really the driving factor as to why they get in relationships or do what they do in the world. And someone's mask could have slipped, and that's, the tower's like, boom, wow, I did not see the truth of your foundation, but now I do. And so because of that, and sometimes when some people do this work within themselves to work through their fears and insecurities and they're willing to move forward in life differently, that's when a relationship can end too, because people liked us at the way we used to live life or view life, or with the certain fears or insecurities or past pain and heartbreak that we had. And if we become illuminated to the truth of dealing with some of those things so that we can let them go, well, then we're not the same person we were. And that's when other people sometimes don't want to be in a relationship with us anymore, because they also like to be in relationships with people who are on the same page as them. And if they're not doing that work to free themselves from things that manipulate them, they don't want to be in a relationship with you anymore either, because in order to move forward with you, they also would have to kind of do some of that work within themselves, and that's not what some people want to do. Shadowy energy can be, I want to stay in denial of the truth. I might have some things that kind of manipulate me, my fear, my insecurity, my self-limiting beliefs, my ego, my defensive nature, my bossy nature, my petty, envious, controlling nature, whatever it is. And I don't want to have to let go of it or see the truth of it. And I'd rather stay in denial of the truth of it, let you go, and I'll just go find someone else who's still on the same page as me. So let's go look at the bottom row. Serendipity. They're leaving things up to chance and hoping the universe will intervene and bring the two of you together. Mysterious one. You intrigue them and keep them guessing and engaged, very different from the rest. Unexpected, which is also kind of like a tower card. Divine blueprint and coldness. So, well, with the serendipity and leaving things up to chance, and with this having a moon card there, again, it can be people who don't have hope and faith and belief in love, but they could think that if I create the illusion that I'm on the same page as you, yep, I want to bring that same dream into reality. But with the mysterious one, it can also be that they're hiding the fact that they really do operate more from their worldly egoic viewpoint in life, which would be more of an unstable foundation. Because if you want to build a solid foundation, you have to build it on love. But some people aren't there yet. They haven't learned to love themselves, have fear of love, you can get hurt doing love, and they'd rather just kind of create the illusion they're loving and hoping maybe loving people in their life will keep staying in a relationship with them, buying this illusion that they're more motivated and inspired by truth and love and justice and fairness than they really are. But then it can be unexpected because other people listen to their intuition. And again, the coldness card can be someone who lives more from their mind than their heart. I think I'm really smart. I don't want to do love. I get hurt doing love. But I'm smart, so I think I know how to work with people. I've kind of learned how different people operate in the world. I've learned what people like and what people don't like. I've watched a lot of different people in the world and how they act, and I'll just act like they act. And that's where it's more of a strategy than being authentically yourself in the world. But because there's some issues that they need to work through that make them decide to keep living their life like this, when things come up in a relationship, like maybe uprooting could just be change. There's change going on in the world. Things are changing. It's just like at any era in life, we can be afraid of change. So back, during the days when, oh my gosh, women were going to get to vote. Oh my gosh, we shouldn't let women vote. Oh my gosh, other minority people are going to get a right to vote. Oh my gosh, we shouldn't let them vote. There's a lot of people who benefit from things not changing. They like things to stay the way they are. As human beings, we can all fear change. But some of the people who definitely don't like change are people who could benefit from things staying the way they are. Don't like it when other people free themselves from things that manipulate them, because they might not know how to navigate that if they're not really even the type of person they were to begin with. And then other people are still changing and growing and healing and stepping out of their comfort zone. How do I even fake that next level? I don't know people who live their life like that, And then when things do change, because of their fear of change and fear of different, other people are kind of maybe being more authentically themselves. Initially, we could be in a relationship and we're all kind of on the same page, but then one person does kind of shed some layers of themselves to be more, step out of their comfort zone in some way, to be being, like giving birth to a new them in a way. And that's when other people cannot like it. They might like staying in the relationship, but because of their fear and their insecurity and haven't learned some of these life skills and life lessons, they might respond more, instead of offering love to the situation and having some hope and faith and belief, they could get caught up in their head and in their fears and in their insecurities. And then they could think, I need to try to control this because I lack hope and faith and belief in love. I might have lack of hope and faith and belief in myself, or even that other people could love me. So I'm going to try to control the situation. And I might do things that aren't conducive to a healthy, just, fair relationship. If that doesn't work, to try to get the people that I'm in a relationship with, maybe not to love and believe in themselves and do the relationship the way I want, well, then I might amp it up. And then I might be cold and detached to them to try to get them to stop loving and believing in themselves, come back and do the relationship the way I want. And if that doesn't work, well, there's some people in the world that, it is more about ego and image, and it can't just say, well, we were kind of on different paths, they wanted to do this, I wanted to do that, we weren't on the same page, and just let people go live their own life. Shadowy energy can kind of be, I need to look like I'm this pillar of society and they have to be the loser because that's how they can view life. Winners and losers, instead of just we weren't on the same page, we kind of went separate ways, and then it can be trying to do stuff to try to really tear down the other person's foundation. Like if you aren't going to do things my way, and you have this hope and faith and belief in yourself, and I don't want to move forward with you in that way. I don't want people to know that. So if all of my tactics didn't work, except to drive you further and further away, then I'm going to try to do something to get people to view you differently, to make them think that you're this shadowy, unstable, ungrounded, unloving, selfish, greedy person yourself, to get other people to not believe that you are who you are. And then they could hope that because they've done all these things to you, that it will maybe make you drive your life off into the ditch. And then by default, they could look like they harness this energy. Oh, look, I did all these mean things to this person. Oh, look, they were sad. They were upset. I was doing all these shadowy things and, because it was hurtful and unkind, they were kind of hoping it would destabilize you and you'd go drive your life off into the ditch. And then by default, they would look like the shining star without them really authentically being that type of person. It's like trying to steal by hurting you, by hoping that you'll drive your life off into the ditch. They can take what's really actually your truth and try to present it as being the truth of who they are. But that's not really the truth of who they are. And for some of those people, it didn't work out because you didn't give up on your dreams. You just let go of them. And you distanced yourself from them. And you still believed in yourself. You distanced yourself from them. You're being in life-giving energy. I'm going to give myself everything that I wish other people would have given me. High vibe Leo, also represented by the sun. I have the free will. I can get up in my head. I can be in my fear, my insecurity. I can be in my competitive nature, my jealous energy, my vengeful energy. But that isn't healthy soil to build my life in. And I've probably had life experience where I maybe had done that before. And I know it just drives my life off into the ditch. So I'm choosing to have hope and faith and belief in love. And in a higher truth and justice will prevail. And I'm going to choose to be in life-giving energy. And I'm going to treat myself with love and compassion and forgiveness. Offer it to other people in my life. I just choose to be in the energy of peace and love. And let go of the people in my life who are hurtful and unkind and unjust and maybe aren't speaking the truth, are trying to confuse people about the truth. And I'm going to let them do them, and I'm going to do me. And part of that is me not being in relationship with them anymore. And I'm going to keep going on this journey that, kind of these foundations in the world, established foundations and things like that can try to stop us from moving forward. Shadowy energy, again, kind of being in the ego, being kind of manipulative, the devil, things thinking they can control other people like they're God. It's like, I'm going to trust that the divine has a plan for my life. And if I keep moving forward in this hopeful, believing, loving nature, that God will provide a pathway for me, because I think there's more to this world than just these things of the world. And though there might be people in your life that seem to have power or influence or status, and, even though you might know they're not telling the truth, and that they're maybe more emotionally cold and calculating than people realize, you know the truth, and you're moving forward in truth. The foundation is I saw that their foundation wasn't built on truth and love and justice and fairness, so I'm letting go of them, and I'm staying, building a foundation in truth and love, and believing everybody will reap what they sow. And for some of those people, it could be unexpected that you are moving forward in this way. Some of those people, say if it was a relationship that by everything looked good by worldly standards, they would probably stay in it because they wouldn't be willing to let go of those things of the world, like the devil's in charge of the world and the things of the world in a way. I think the world was created for us to enjoy. It's like a gift to us. But if we make those things of the world too important to us and make them more important than loving ourselves, or look to those things to be the answer to our problems, that's when those things get kind of like a stranglehold on us. But we can enjoy the things of the world from a place of love because we have it in perspective and in balance, and we don't give those things of the world that much power over us. But some other people could have kind of lost perspective, and they do give those things of the world too much power in their life, being all about themselves, ego, image, money, drugs, sex, rock and roll, alcohol, whatever, Those things are the more important thing in their life than becoming independent of those things and seeing through the illusion and loving themselves. So all those things don't manipulate them so much. And they could think that if their truth is they work with these things of the world to look victorious and successful in the world, and maybe have put a lot of work into, in some way, looking and having certain traits, characteristics, or assets about them, that they think people should want to stay in relationship with them because of those things. Well, that can make them mad. That, well, if I'm really attractive, I think you should want to stay in a relationship with me regardless of if I'm petty or prideful or egotistical or bossy or controlling or immature, because you should want to be in a relationship with me because I'm really attractive, or because I have money, or because I have status or social clout. And that's how some people view life. And they can really be upset when you're not willing to stay in a relationship with them for those reasons, because they think you should. You should give up your dreams. They've made their life about these things. You should make your life about these things. And when those things of the world aren't enough, things are things. I want love. I want truth. I want justice. I want fairness. I want character and integrity. And they're like, how dare you? So those people will probably, go try this again on someone else. Someone else who doesn't know the truth about who they are, and try to hide the truth of who they are. And then it could get harder and harder for them to find someone, because as other people go through life, other people have learned these lessons. Other people have learned that there's shadowy, manipulative, egotistical, prideful, whatever, people in the world, and people who can hide it very well. And they've learned to listen to their intuition, which was given to them as a gift to help navigate in this world. Some of these people ignore their intuition. Their intuition could be screaming at them. You shouldn't do this. This isn't just. This isn't fair. You're being selfish. You're being deceitful. And they're like, I don't care. That's how I view life. I don't have to do life that way. I think I'm smart enough. I can manipulate everyone to view me a certain way. Well, it gets harder and harder because other people keep getting older and wiser and learning lessons in life, and they're not willing to put up with people who are more aligned with their immature, worldly, egoic view of life. Let's go see what's coming up for people that they might not see coming. What's coming up for the high vibe people who harness some high vibe Gemini energy that they might not see coming up? The Six of Cups, because of the Page of Cups. It's a process to go through this, but High vibe people want, the Six of Cups can talk about coming to balance about the past. I've reconciled myself with the past. I don't want the past to keep manipulating me. How did they do that? Love. Love was the answer in the Page of Cups. I'm going to offer love to myself and other people. We've all got lessons to learn. We've all got fears and insecurities. I've known people, they're prideful, they're defensive, they're selfish, they're all about themselves, blah, blah, blah. I just accept that people are where they're at. Everybody had the free will to be willing to reconcile themselves with their past, with the people they've known and the people in their life that weren't very just, very fair, weren't loving, weren't nurturing, weren't supportive, weren't encouraging. They had the free will to offer love to that and come to a place of peace about it so that they could move forward in this way too. But they had the free will and they chose not to. There's people in my life who didn't treat me that way, and now I don't trust other people. Well, are we willing to give ourselves those things that we wish other people would have given us? And some people haven't learned to do that. I think the hardest lesson to learn in life is to love yourself. That in your own head, you're like your own best mother, father, coach voice to yourself. And I think because of that, the Six of Cups also is Scorpio energy. Realizing that some people, in how they harness their Scorpio energy, regardless of what zodiac sun sign they are, everybody has to repeat an old pattern, which is what the Six of Cups talks about too. We all have to repeat a certain pattern until have learned the lesson we were meant to learn from it. And then if we see the truth and are willing to deal with the truth of it, that's when we reconcile ourselves to that past pattern and we say, I don't want to repeat this past pattern. I have learned the lesson I was meant to learn. I'm ready to move forward in life differently. But some people keep repeating an old pattern over and over, just hoping for a different outcome because they don't want to see the truth. They either don't want to see the truth about themselves, or they don't want to see the truth about some people in their life that maybe don't want them to grow to their full potential, that maybe don't do love. Shadowy Scorpio, it can be emotionally shallow and superficial. Some people are emotionally shallow and superficial, more about themselves and the things of the world, but they don't want to see the truth of it. Some people would rather be in a more emotionally shallow, superficial relationship because they don't trust love. Let's just get in a relationship. If we get along good enough, that's fine. As long as it looks good by worldly standards. I don't want to do a deep, meaningful relationship. I get hurt doing that. And maybe I don't think I could pick myself up if something didn't work out with it. I'd rather be in a relationship not based on love than to be in a relationship based on love. That way, if it doesn't work out, I wasn't emotionally invested in it anyway. I can just pick myself up and move on. We all do what we think is just and fair based on, I guess, what we think we're capable of handling at any given moment. When some people got out of certain situations, they could have taken a leap of faith to communicate to some other people in their life that, I've learned these lessons in life and I'm moving forward in this way. Who wants to come with me and work together with me in this way? I've reconciled myself with some issues from my past that previously could have made me not have learned to love myself or didn't have hope and faith and belief in love. But now I've learned that. Who wants to come with me? And there'll be some people from your past that are going to come with you. There's going to be some people in your life and from your past that are happy you've learned this lesson, but they've moved on with other people. And in high vibe energy, we just deal with the truth of it. Not, I can only work with people who are on the same page at the same time as me. And I'm not going to let anything anymore drive my life off into the ditch. I'm going to stay in hope and faith and belief that the divine has a plan for my life. And if life is about learning lessons, and I learned this lesson in life, And if I have some of the people in my life or from my past and people presently in my life and people I might meet who are willing to move forward with me in this way, those are the people I'm going to work with, and I'm going to trust that the divine will bring that new path to me. I don't want to repeat this past pattern. But some people will, because they haven't reconciled themselves with something that is kind of a stumbling block for them. So they'll keep repeating this pattern until they are willing to see the truth. What's coming up for some of the people who might harness a more worldly or shadowy Gemini energy that they might not see coming? The Two of Cups, because of the King of Cups. Well, some of these people in the world are repeating a pattern of not having hope and faith and belief and love and... just a minute. Back again. When people act shadowy, eventually other people can love them, but eventually people are kind of tired investing in people who don't have hope and faith and belief and love, and eventually they're going to align with loving themselves, and they're going to take action in love to go on this journey, to go get in relationships with other people who love and believe in themselves and have some hope and faith and belief and love. And the kings in tarot can talk about us operating more from our egoic nature. There's going to be other people who want to get in a relationship with this person because, again, they might look victorious and successful in some ways in the world. And there's other people who want to be in a relationship. If they get in a relationship with another loving person, this whole thing might play out again. What they need to do is be in a relationship with someone who's like themselves, someone else who likes to operate from their more worldly, egoic nature. I like to present myself as loving to you, and when we're out in the world, like I'm this loving person, but it's more a false mask that I wear, in a way. You know, I present myself as loving, but I'm not, you know, my cup of love inside doesn't overflow. I don't freely give to people in love. I just try to present myself as that way, and that's the type of relationship they should be in, because that is the page that they're on. And they might not be happy about it, because if they're not someone who's authentically very loving, and they're in a relationship with someone who's not authentically very loving, well, then it looks like love, but it's kind of cold. It's kind of superficial and shallow. But if they're not willing to be authentically loving, then it's just and fair that they're in relationships with people who are on the same page as them. So there you go, Gemini energy. I wish you peace, love, and joy, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.